This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so last three problems. Okay, so this was simple. You know how to find the inverse of A and also the power. So for A cube, you can just simply take multiply, right? For A cube, you can just multiply A with A. First of all, you just multiply A with itself, you will get A square, and then if you multiply A square with A again, but the answer which you get here, if you multiply that answer A square with A one more time, right? So the answer which you get here with A one more time, you will get A cube. And similarly, you can find A inverse. And there are two methods of finding A inverse. So you have to find A cube separately, A inverse separately. A inverse has two formulas, right? We had one which is the determinant of A times adjoint of A. So it's your choice whether you want to use this. It's little lengthy process, or you can find A inverse by that row operations, that write A and write an identity matrix with it, right? 3 by 3, and use row operations to convert this to identity. And the same row operations on identity will give you A inverse. Automatically, whatever you will get here on the right side will be your A inverse. So whatever you want, you can use it, okay? So find A inverse and A cube, you will see that they are equal. I hope you have done it. So this is not a problem. Again, A square K A minus 2I, you can find K from here. So solving a system is a problem, right? Solving a system in 4th and 5th. So in third question, there is no solution, but it's not solving a system in question number 3. In question number 3, you have to find this x, right? How to find this x? So it's not a problem, just keep multiplying. You have 3 matrices, or 2 vectors and 1 matrix. So what you can do is you can multiply them, these two first, multiply these two, okay, and you will get a vector, right? 1 into x plus 1 into 2 plus 2 into 1, right? So you will get x plus 2 plus 2, so x plus 4. This is what you will get. Now second row, first column, minus x minus 8 plus 1. So minus x minus 8 plus 1 is minus 7, right? And then the last one, the last row with column, minus x minus 2 minus 2. So it will give you minus x plus 4, right? Minus x minus 2 means minus 4. So this is what you got by multiplying the second and third vector. But the first one is still there. First one is still there, x2n minus 1. So now if you multiply x2n minus 1, what you will get? There is just one row and one column now, right? So if you multiply x, so you will get x into x plus 4. So x square plus 4x, right? Then plus 2 into x minus 7. So it will become minus 2x minus 14. There is just one entry now, right? And then minus 1 into x minus 4. So this will become plus x plus 4. So you see on the left hand side, you just have a number, right? This is a matrix, but it has just one row and one column, just one entry. That's why the right hand side also had only one entry, 0. Now when these two matrices will be equal, when this entry is equal to 0, that's it. You just have to equate them now. So x square minus 4x minus 2x and plus x. This will become 4 plus 1, 5 minus 2, 3. So you got x square plus 3x and minus 14 plus 4 is minus 10. So this is what you got on the left, and on the right hand side you have 0. So you see you got one algebraic equation quadratic equation. So I think there are factors for that: x minus 5 and x plus 2, x minus 2 and x plus 5, right? These are the factors for this now. 5 2s are 10, minus 10, and if you add, you get plus 3. 5 minus 2 is plus 3. So now what is the value of x? X is 2 and 5. So x can be 2, and from here x can be 5. So these are the two values which will satisfy your given equation. Now this was a matrix equation, but you see at the end I got just an algebraic equation. Is that okay? So this was all about multiplication of matrices. There was nothing special in it. Okay, so where is your chat? Any question, anything? Is that okay? So okay, so similarly, see, this is a matrix, and again there is one x in it, right? So when you find the determinant, you will get one equation in x. So how to find determinant? You can keep one row or one column, whatever you pick. So if I pick the first row, then 2 with the cofactor of 2. What is the cofactor? Remove this row and column. So 2 1 2 3. You don't have to write. You can just directly write the answer if you want. You can directly write 3 to the 6 minus 2, which is 4. But I'm doing all the steps here. So minus x into, now this row and this column is gone. So 3 1 1 3. So you got 3 1 1 3. This is the cofactor of x, right? When you remove the column and row containing this number with the sign, see, this is plus, this is minus, this is plus, with the sign is a cofactor. And the third entry is again plus 4 into, if you remove this row and this column, now you got 3 2 1 2, 3 2 1 2, right? So this is the determinant equal to minus 3, which is given minus 3. Now if you simplify, this is 3 to the 6 minus 2, 4. So 2 into 4 is 8. This is 9 minus 1, which is again 8. So you got minus 8x, right? And this is 3 to the 6 minus 2, which is 4. So 4 plus 4 is 16, right? 4 into 4 is 16, equal to minus 6. So again, you see, this is an equation in x. So from here you can easily find x. So minus 8x on the left. From here you get minus 8x on the left equal to 16 plus 8 is 24. So 24 will become minus 2 is it minus 24, minus 3 minus 24. So you got 20 minus 27 on the right. Okay, then x will become, if you divide by 8, divide by minus 8, this is your x, 27 by 8. Okay, so hopefully this is your correct answer, but you can check whether these calculations are correct. Just redo this problem. I hope these no minus sign, minus is cancelled. 27 by 8. Okay, so that's how you can find x from here. So in first three questions, it is just a matter of calculating these left hand sides, or expanding the left hand side, multiplication, simple multiplication and determinants. Okay, today's lecture was, which I posted today, was solving the system, right? I did two methods. One was the row reduction, and second was the, I did not do example for the inverse method, but it was easy because you know how to find the inverse, right? So if you write, you see, let me tell you why we get this equation ax is equal to b. At the end of the video today, I mentioned that you can write your system of linear equation as this, where A is the coefficient matrix, X is the matrix of variables X, Y, Z, and B is the right hand side. Okay, if you get this, then X is nothing but A inverse B. You can multiply A on the right side from the left, and A will become A inverse on the other side, A minus 1 into B. Okay, this is the solution. If you write the matrix form, inverse method says that this is the solution. Okay, but if you want to see how we got from here to here, how we wrote this system of equations like this: ax is equal to b. So if you look at the first column, first column becomes 2 1 1 into x. You see, right? If I multiply 2 1 1 x, you get 2x 1x and 1x, right? And then plus the second column can be written as minus 1 1 and minus 1 with y. I only wrote the coefficients minus 1 1 and minus 1. From here I wrote y. Then the coefficients of z are 3 1 1. Okay, with z equal to, the right hand side can also be written as a vector 9 6 2. Okay, now I can call it, this is a vector, column vector of the matrix. You can write it a1, then a1 with x plus a2 with y. You see, a vector a2 with y plus a vector a3 with, now a3 are the columns of your coefficient matrix. Z is equal to, I can write the call the right hand side as b. This is called the vector equation. What I wrote here from the system is called a vector equation. Vector equation where a1 a2 a3 are all vectors and b is also a vector, and x y z is your or unknown variables, right? This is called vector equation. Okay, vector equation. How we get this matrix equation? Now if I write these columns, these three things, the first column 2 1 1, the second column minus 1 1 minus 1, and the third column, third vector 3 1 1 as a third column. If I write these vectors a1 a2 a3, this a1 a2 a3 as one matrix, and now write this as a vector x y z as just a vector. If I multiply these matrix with a vector, you will exactly get the left hand side. You can check it. 9. You can check this. 2 into x minus 1 into y plus 3 into z. See what you got? 2x minus y plus 3z. What is the second vector? 1 1 1 with x y z. 1 into x plus 1 into y plus 1 into z. You see the second equation. 1x plus 1y plus 1z. Now the third is 1 into x minus 1 into y plus 1 into z. So you see the second one, x minus y plus z. Exactly, you are getting the right. If you multiply this matrix with this vector, you will exactly get this left hand side, and right hand side is your b. Okay, now if you call this matrix your matrix of coefficient and call this your vector of unknowns, x is x y z, and the right hand side is a vector of constants, which is b. So you see, I got the matrix equation, which is a into x equal to b. So there are three ways of writing the same system of equation. This is called the matrix form of the linear system or matrix equation. This is the matrix form of the same system, but we call it matrix equation. Same system written as a vector equation, and this is the system in original form. All these three things are the same thing. System of linear equations written separately, in vector form, in matrix form, everything is the same. Agreed? So this is, so every system can be written as ax is equal to b. Okay, now the problem is, if your a is not a square matrix, then we cannot use this inverse method. Here you see your a is 3 by 3. A is a 3 by 3 matrix. So a square matrix may have an inverse, right? But if it is not a square, I cannot find the inverse of that. It's very difficult. Okay, but if, because we cannot write an identity matrix corresponding to a non-square matrix, right? Identity matrix is always square, or we cannot find the determinant as well. So now, if you recall, he said use the inverse method. Any question so far? Any question in writing this vector form and in this matrix form? In this question, you can directly write, you can skip this vector form, you can directly write this matrix form, okay, because he asked us to use inverse method to solve the system. So I don't need this vector form, okay, but I just by the way, I just gave you this idea of vector equation as well. Okay, no question. So now you have to check the first thing. Doesn't matter which you are using, you can find the determinant. If the determinant is 0, there is no inverse for this, and we cannot use inverse method to solve the system. Okay, always remember, we can use inverse method if A inverse exists. If A inverse does not exist, if your determinant is 0, then A inverse does not exist, because we cannot divide by 0. A inverse does not exist. Okay, and you can say that it does not mean that there is no solution of the system. There may still be a solution of the system. We have to use some other method, row reduction operation, Gaussian method or Gauss-Jordan method, right? Reducing to echelon form or reduced echelon form. But if your A inverse exists, if A determinant of A is not equal to 0, it means A inverse exists and I can find. So it's better to check A determinant. Check A determinant before proceeding. So if I check A determinant, it is 2 into 1 plus 1, 2. So your determinant is, if I write the determinant, let me use A determinant is 2 into 2, right? And then 2 into the determinant of this 1 plus 1, 2. So 2 into 2. Then this minus will become plus 1. So I will multiply 1 with 1 minus 1 with 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So the second term becomes 0. Now go to the third one. Third is 3. So if I take this column and this row off, I will get minus 1 minus 1, which is minus 2. So plus 3 into minus 2. So you got 4 minus 6. 4 minus 6. So which is minus 2. So it is not 0, right? It is not equal to 0. It means A inverse exists. All right. What does it mean? It means A inverse exists. Now it's your choice whether you want to find the adjoint of A, whether you want to find adjoint of A or using the row operations. It's your choice how you find the inverse. So A inverse exists. If you want to find the adjoint of A, what I will do, I will find the cofactor matrix first. Okay, cofactor matrix. I will find the cofactors of everything. Okay, so you can write cofactor of A11, the first entry. Cofactor of A11 is, cofactor of A11 is, remove this row, this column, this one. So it's 1 into 1, 2, 1 plus 1, 2. Okay, so cofactor of this is 2. Similarly, cofactor of A12, I will find 9 cofactors. Cofactor of A12 is this. So remove this row and column. So 1 into 1 minus 1, 0. Cofactor is 0 with a minus sign, but 0 has no minus sign. Cofactor of A13. A13 is first row, third column. First row, third column. Let me write it here. It's easy to write the matrix somewhere here. Let me write it again so that I don't have to go up and down. 2 minus 1, 3, 1, 1, 1. 2 minus 1, 3, 1. You can see when you are doing on the page, you can easily see at the top 1 minus 1, 1. 1 minus 1, 1. Okay. Now cofactor of 3 is 1 into minus 1 is minus 2. Okay. Similarly, I can find more cofactors. Cofactor of A21. Now the second row, right? 2, 1. Second row. 2, 1 is this, and it is again minus sign. You can check the minus sign by adding this. You see, 1, 1 means 1 plus 1, 2. If this sum is even, it is plus. If the sum is odd, it is minus. So 3 plus 1 is 4. It has to be plus. Plus, but this minus comes from the determinant. That's why it is minus. So cofactor of 2, 1 is minus, right? 2, 1 is 3, 2 minus. So if you remove this row column, I will get minus 1 plus 3, which is 2. Okay. If you get minus inside, minus minus will become plus. So this is the cofactor. Similarly, A2 is this. So now 2 into 1, 2 minus 3, which is minus 1. Minus 1, A2, 3. Pardon my writing. I'm using mouse for that. It's very difficult. So for this is 2, 3. This row and this column is gone. So 2 into 1 minus 2 and plus 1. So that is minus 1. But minus from the formula as well. Minus from the determinant and minus from this odd. 3 plus 2 is odd. So this minus minus will become plus 1. Okay. So similarly, cofactor of A3, 1 cofactor. You can write cofactor of A3, 1. 3, 1 is this. Now if you remove these two, you will get minus 1 and minus 3, which is minus 4. Minus 4. Then A3, 2. A3, 2 is this. 2 into 1, 2 minus 3. Minus 1, but minus from the formula as well. So minus into minus 1 is 1. And the last one is A3, 3. For A3, 3, I got the last row, last column of 2 into 1, 2 and plus 1, 3. So I got this. These are the cofactors. Now if I write the cofactor matrix, let's call it C, it will be for A11, it is 2, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. Okay, so these are the cofactors I wrote. See, for A11, A12, A13, 202 in the first row. This is the cofactor matrix. It's not adjoint. I replaced every number by its cofactor. We replaced this 2. We replaced this 2 by its cofactor. We replaced minus 1 by its cofactor. We replaced 3 by its cofactor. Okay, so we replaced every entry by its cofactor. Now what is your adjoint? Adjoint is the transpose of this cofactor matrix. Adjoint is the transpose of this cofactor matrix. Okay, you can write this adjoint directly as well. Like I wrote this as a row. So if you wrote this as a column, second column and third column, you will directly get the adjoint. So you can skip this step. But I wrote cofactor matrix just to recall what was the cofactor matrix. Okay, so if you replace each entry by its cofactor, you get the cofactor matrix, and when you take the transpose, you get the minus 2, minus 1, 1, and this is your adjoint matrix. Minus 4, 1, 3. Okay, this is adjoint matrix. So at the end, what is your A inverse? Your A inverse is 1 over determinant of A, which was minus 2, right? And adjoint of A. So divide adjoint of A with the determinant. Determinant was minus 2. This is your determinant. A determinant was minus 2. So if you divide by every term by 1 by 2, you will get. So if you divide by minus 2, you got minus 1, 1, 2, 0, minus 1 by 2, 1, 1. No, this is 0, 1 plus 1 by 2 minus 1 because determinant is minus 2. So 1 minus 1 by 2 and minus 3 by 2. So this is your A inverse. If anyone has calculated, he can check whether this is true, this is correct or not. I may have made a mistake, I don't know, but anyway, you can check my calculations again. If they are true, then this is A inverse. What is the check here? If I want to check my answer, whether my A inverse is correct or not, what I can do? If you want to check whether your A inverse is correct or not, what you can do, you can multiply A inverse with your A. You should get the identity matrix, okay? And similarly, if you multiply A with A inverse on the right, you will again get the identity matrix. So if you want to check whether your solution, whether your inverse is correct or not, you can just multiply, and you don't have to write, just multiply in your mind. Let's say it is 2 minus 1 3, so 2 minus 2 plus 3 1. You see, you got 1 at the first one. 2 minus 1 3, so 2 minus 1 by 2 is 3 by 2, and plus 3 by 2 is 0. See, so I'm getting first two entries correctly, 1 0, and hopefully this is also 0. 4 plus 1 5, and 3 by minus 9 by 2. This is not 0, so maybe something is wrong. I'm not, did I multiply correctly? But anyways, you can check, multiply A with A inverse, you should get identity. If even if one term is not matching with identity, there is something wrong, okay? You can go back and check all these cofactors and see if I calculated all the cofactors correctly. Anyway, the idea is this, finding A inverse. So what will be the solution of the system now? The solution of the system will be X is equal to A inverse B, right? So at the end, after getting the inverse, you will multiply your inverse with B. So your inverse, which you got from here, this is your inverse, right inverse here, and the right hand side of your system, which is 962. So if you multiply 962, okay, so if you multiply this left hand side, for example, this first one was minus 1 1 2, so if you multiply minus 9 plus 6 minus 3 plus 4 1, so I got 1. So this is the value of X, because what is your X? X is X Y Z, right? X is your X Y Z, right? So if you get X Y Z is equal to the right hand side, I got 1 here, so it means X is equal to 1. The second row with this column will give you Y here, and the third row with third column will give you Z here, right? So that is your solution. So after getting the inverse, finding the solution is not a problem, because we know that your final solution is just A inverse into B. Is that clear? How to use inverse to solve the system? This is called the inverse method of solving the system. I did not do the example in the lecture, but this is the example. So now you can redo this example. Do not copy it. Don't just copy it. You have seen the solution, no problem. Now close this video and start from the beginning all over again. Just write the matrix equation on your own. Find the inverse on your own, because it will give you some practice, and multiply your A inverse with B and see whether you are getting the correct answer or not. If my answer is not correct, you can change it, no problem, okay? Any questions? Easy, right? This is easy. Linear algebra is easy. All right, so no questions coming up. So I hope this is clear. In the second problem, I just asked you show that the following system is consistent, and if it is consistent, solve. Okay. So here you don't have to use A inverse. What you can do, write the augmented matrix. Okay, write augmented matrix here and use the row operation. If you watch my video again, I did example with, and I did an example by elimination method, and I kept writing augmented matrix with it. So I think that will give you a very good practice, and it will make sense why we are using the row operations on augmented matrix, how it will give me the solution. On one side I did the elimination, on right side I played with the augmented matrix, and of course it gives me a good thing. So augmented matrix. So you have to write augmented matrix augmented matrix is the coefficient matrix. The notation we use this A with B because A is the coefficient matrix, right? So we write AB together, right? So this is the augmented matrix. So 1, 1, 1 are the coefficients equal to 6. So 6 is the last column. If I don't write the last column, that will be the coefficient matrix. If I just write this one, 1, 4, 7, if I just write this, right, it is the coefficient matrix. But to solve the system, I don't just need coefficient matrix, I need augmented matrix. So I will write the third column, a fourth column as the right hand side. Okay, this is my augmented matrix. Now you can reduce it to echelon form. Okay, and if at any step, if you get, because there are three variables, if at any step you get this type of row that first three become 0 and the last become non-zero, it can be anything, 1, 2, 3, whatever, right? If this is the case, you can stop there and say that my system is not consistent, it has no solution, because this means 0 equal to 7, which is not true, right? If these all become 0, then this should also be 0. If this is the case, then no problem, 0 equal to 0 is fine. When one of the whole row becomes 0, one variable will be free variable. Okay, solution will not be unique, that's it. But if it is something 1, 2, 3, then it is not consistent, just stop there. Okay, so we cannot say whether it's consistent or not. We have to do some row operations, and after that we will tell you whether it is consistent or not. Okay, so consistency will come along. Now what are the row operations? So row equivalent, we sometimes write or and equivalent sign. This is row equivalent, we are not saying these are equal. So using this one, I will make these two 0 because this is pivot position. So first row will be as it is, 1, 1, 1, 6, and I will use R2 minus R1, R2 minus R1. This will change R2, not R1. Remember, it will change your R2 because I'm using R1 to change R2. Okay, similarly R3 minus R1, R1 is being used only, I am not changing R1. So this will again change my R2. So R2 and R3 will be your new rows. Okay, so if I'm just subtracting, 1 minus 1 will become 0, 2 minus 1 will become 1, 3 minus 1 will become 2, and 14 minus 6 will become 8. Got it? This is this operation. Now the second operation, R3 minus R1, 0, 4 minus 1, 3, 7 minus 1, 6, 30 minus 1, 24. Okay, this is your second operation. Any questions here? Row operations is easy, right? I made 0. Now what is my next pivot element? Next pivot is this. This was my first pivot, I made all of them 0. This is my second pivot, so I can make 0 underneath it, because consistency comes from the echelon form. Consistency comes from the echelon form. Echelon forms tell me whether it is consistent or not. But after doing the consistency, to solve the system, I need reduced echelon form. Reduced means up and down both 0, up and down both 0. So instead of just doing the echelon form, I can do reduce the echelon form, not a problem. Okay, there will be one more step, but it's better to just convert it to reduced echelon form, and it will give you the consistency as well as your solution. So 0, 1, 2, 8, because now I will use the second row. So I am writing the second row as it is. To make this 0, what I will do, R1 minus R2, R1 minus R2. Now R2 is being used, so it will change R1. R1 will be changed. Similarly, I will make this 3, 0 by using R2, by using this, right? So now R3, not minus R2, but 3R2, R3 minus 3R2. This will change my R3, because this is 1. If I multiply this 1 by 3 and then subtract, 3 minus 3 will become 0. Okay, so first I do this operation, R1 minus R2. So 1 minus 0 will remain 1, 1 minus 1 will become 0, 1 minus 2 will become minus 1, and 6 minus 8 will become minus 2. And 0 minus 0 remains 0. 3 minus 3 will give you 0. 6 minus 6 will give you 0. 24 minus 24 gives you 0. You see, I multiplied this row by 3, you see, and then subtracted from the third one. If I did this operation, if you want to see this operation separately, I can do that. R3 is 0, 3, 6, 24. Okay, and then minus 3R1. 3R1 is 0, 3, 0. You see, if I multiply this by 3, I get 0, 3, 6, 24. The same row. Now, if I subtract, all give me 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so you can do this separately on rough page or on the right side and then write it here. But if you have enough practice, you can do it directly as well inside the matrix. Now you see, this is my reduced echelon form or echelon form. Why? Because third row did not get any pivot. If third row gets some pivot, let's say here, then I will make these two zeros as well. Okay, but it did not get a pivot here or here. If you get pivot here, let's say if this was not 0, let's say if this is 25, 25 minus 24 is 1, let's say, then I will say that there is no solution because I got 0, 0, 0, 1, which is not possible, right? But fortunately, I did not get 1 here or 2 here. It is 0. So I got the one full row 0. It is fine. Now, if you want to write the rank, you see the rank of coefficient matrix. If I just consider first three column, what is the rank? Rank is 2 because there are 2 non-zero rows in echelon form, right? And rank of A is 2. And if I want to write rank of augmented matrix, which is AB, rank of augmented matrix AB, that is also 2. They are equal. You see, if I consider the whole thing, still 2 non-zero rows. So it means my system is consistent. Okay, so my system is consistent. If your row rank of AB is bigger than rank of A, if this rank is 3, let's say if it is 1 here, then the rank of the whole matrix is 3. The number of non-zero rows in the whole matrix is 3, but the number of non-zero rows in my A are 2. So it will be non-consistent. Okay, but fortunately it is the same thing. So you can either say this, that there is no such term in the echelon form. There is no term, there is no row like this 0, 0, 0, 0 and B. There is no row like this. Okay, no row like this in my echelon form. So still I can say that it is consistent. Or you can say that the rank of coefficient matrix and rank of coefficient matrix and rank of whole augmented matrix are the same. So my system is consistent. You can give any reason, this reason or this reason. You can give any reason to say it is consistent. Now for the solution, I can write, because this is my reduced echelon form as well. I got a pivot, below it are 0. I got a pivot here, above and below it are 0. Then I have no pivot in my third row. No pivot, so I don't have to make anything 0 above or below. This is my reduced echelon form. So now once I get the reduced echelon form, I can write my system again. So x1 plus 0 minus x3 is equal to minus 2. So you got x1 minus x3 equal to 2, right? This is from the first one. X1 minus x3 is equal to minus 2. Then from the second row, you got x2 plus 2x3 is equal to 8. x2 plus 2x3 equal to 8, right? And your third row gives you 0 equal to 0. So that's fine. 0x1, 0x2, 0x3 equal to 0. So 0 equal to 0 is not a problem. If you get 0 is equal to 1, that's a problem. So it means x3 is free. You are not getting anything for x3. So your x1 will become minus 2 plus x3. I brought x3. The variable which is free should be written on the right hand side. I brought it on the right. Similarly, from the second row, I got x2 equal to 8 minus 2x3. Again, you see the free variable comes on the right hand side, and I will write, because I should write solution for all three variables. So what I will write for x3, I will say that x3 is free. What does it mean? Free means it can take any value. So this is my solution. This is the solution. You give any value to x3. Let's say if I say x3 is 0, then you can put 0 0 here. You will get x1 is equal to -2, x2 is equal to 8, x3 is 0. This is one of the solutions. Now someone says that no, I want x3 equal to 1. Okay, no problem. You can take x3 equal to 1. Your x1 will become -2 plus 1 minus 1. Your x2 becomes 8 minus 2 6, and x3 will be 1. So that is another solution. So you can write infinite many solutions for this system. Okay, if your system is not consistent, I can say that the system has no solution. If you do not get a free variable, let's say you get a pivot position here as well, here you get a pivot position, then you will get x3 fixed as well. So x1, x2, x3 will be fixed, so you will get a unique solution, just one solution. But you did not get a pivot position in the third row, so one variable was free, so you got infinite many solution. So if you have watched my video, we mentioned over there that a system can have three situations only: no solution, unique solution, or infinite many solution. So this is the case where we are getting infinite many solution. Okay, so I got infinite many solutions here, not a unique solution. So it means if your rank of the augmented matrix is less than the rows, then you will get infinite many solution. You see, the rank of AB was 2. The rank of the augmented matrix is 2, which is less than the number of rows. Number of rows are 3. Okay, so if this is less than the number of rows, you should get infinite many solution. If your rank is equal to the number of rows, if your rank of augmented matrix is 3 and the number of rows are also 3, or number of variables as well, there are 3 variables, 3 rows, and the rank is also 3, it means you will get a unique solution. All right, so that's how you can solve a system of equation using the row reduction, augmented matrix, and using the A inverse. And in A inverse, you can also use the augmented matrix. Okay, not augmented matrix, sorry, the coefficient matrix. There is another way of finding, which I wrote, I think, here at the beginning. You can use for A inverse, you can use the other method as well, which was writing A and writing the identity matrix with it, right? And then use row operation to convert A to identity. Use the same row operations on identity, and you will get A inverse. So it's your choice whether you want to use this algorithm, AI algorithm, or you want to use cofactor matrix or adjoint matrix. It is your choice. Any questions now? It's easy, right? So go through, watch this video again, watch the lecture again, and if you have any questions, you can again communicate with me. But hopefully, using these two exercises now and couple of examples which I did during the video as well, if you watch it couple of times, watch this video couple of times, hopefully these things will be clear. So we can end the session here. I can stop the recording first.